All right. Let's see if this works. I know there's no one in here currently at the moment right now, but I just want to make sure I've got everything set before we continue, regardless of whether to enter or not. Regardless, this is just how I'm going to roll. Still not over sinuses, but I'll do it for now. All right. So, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back after a few months. Wow, the quality sounds like crap on here. Hold on one sec. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. I think it's because the headphones can't be because the other headphones I have usually work a whole lot better, and this one only works down to one little eardrum. So as long as people can hear what I'm saying, that's okay with me. So real quick. All right. Okay. So as of which, I'm just making sure everything on my stream is fantastic, using it for my phone. I want to make sure I got everything set. Okay. So anyways, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Jas Winabo, the Thrash Metal Guru here. Also, if you cannot hear me, or just in case, I will write this down, just in case if the sound is not going through. So what I'm going to do here is this. No, I don't need that. I'm going to do it like this. Probably go back to you now and see if I can do that. Hey, Brandon, it's been a long time. Just in case. I don't know if that's backwards, though, but... Anyway. Okay, so a lot of people are actually going streaming right now. I got one of my favorite YouTubers streaming on Twitch right now, which I should be doing. So she's doing that. Angry Joe's streaming right now. Well, one of my other friends was streaming just not too long ago. Okay, so you can hear me. That's good. All right. So let me turn this over. That way I can look at this. But anyways, I'm doing pretty fine too, Brandon. It's good to see you again. So I figured it'd be good to come back after a few months. It's been kind of a very tough 2.5, 3 months, technically what I've been gone as. But before anyone kind of gets to the questions of why I have so many uploads of Star Wars videos, let's just say I was not feeling like myself for the past few months. I've been really trying to better myself and trying to I was completely trying to separate myself from a lot of things because it felt like I was completely in an unhealthy type of area, an unhealthy type of a state that I didn't want to be in. And I just felt like it was affecting me so much. And I don't know, I couldn't take it. It took a while for me to kind of feel better. And it really affected me on the whole means of making production of recordings of live streams, videos, even the projects that I wanted to do, which part of pretty much about 25 to 30% of the project is technically already on YouTube, which is the Star Wars recordings that I did, or the recordings of the gameplays of Star Wars: The Old Republic. Now, I'm actually kind of surprised that BioWare, Disney, or EA hasn't really taken down my video, because the irony behind that is that when I did gameplay videos of these, like just the recordings of it, I had not even monetized, not even placed with ads. It pretty much got taken off due to, oh, sorry about that. It got taken off due to copyright notices and stuff like that. That's pretty much the major reason. But this was like a different chapter that I was playing on the game compared to what I was playing now. I was pretty much playing the beginning version of the game. Now, the difference between what happened here with the gameplay stuff that I upload is that I got the notices and the reviews that the content that I'm uploading has a copyright notice. It's pretty much flagged for copyright. But surprisingly, the videos weren't taken down, which I'm not upset about, which that's still technically a win for me because it's not really about the money. And to be honest, the first time around with the Star Wars project that I'm doing is not necessarily for the views. This is something that I wanted to do for myself. And it's what I've been taking a break from my actual rants and things like this. And which finally, I get to finally help drive a little bit of that story now. I didn't make the story, obviously. Star Wars The Old Republic by BioWare and EA, they obviously did. I mean, the game's been around since way before I even noticed that it was actually around. Kind of like during like the Star Wars Galaxy moments. But the character that I put into that game that I created was the idea of it, like a Sith warrior. If you watch the stuff, you don't have to really watch it all the way through. But if you see for the moment, the character that I play is pretty much the idea. And it's my own fan version story of pretty much like one of the, not the first Kenobi, but pretty much a Kenobi about thousands or 2,000 years from the Luke Skywalker story, who was a light Sith warrior. Technically, one of the few light Sith warriors who eventually would, change his character despite being a bad guy or being an anti-hero who would eventually turn into a protagonist. That's what I'm still making. I had more of the projects of Rise of the Hutt Cartel, Knights of the Fallen Empire, and the Knights of the Eternal Throne, and all the editions after. I still have to record all of those, and that's like over 100 hours of recording, which that's going to be a nightmare. So for safeguard measures, I've taken a break from that because I'm going to be downloading every single one of those onto a hard drive. I still have the original recordings, but for safekeeping and for safe measure, I'm going to be uploading those. So that way I still have that project and nothing happens, and then EA or BioWare decides that, if they decide, well, you know what, we should just take these videos down anyway, it would avoid for me being upset and pissed. And again, being that it's flagged for copyright, I'm not pissed. I understand that. And you know what? Cool. It's a win-win because, for one, I get to help promote their game, regardless of how many views it gets, or regardless of how many subscribers I lose, because the subscriber thing is just a number. I'm completely content with the fact if I'm all the way down to, 0 subscribers or 1 subscriber, I don't really care. The point is, I'm content with it because I enjoy what I do, and I do this because I can and because I want to. With that being said, the Star Wars things is also what kind of helped take my mind off of a lot of things that I've been getting, at me. It's been sort of like a weight that lifts off someone's shoulders when you feel like you've done something. Now, it may not look like as much, but it's something that pretty much is a start with. Besides Star Wars, which other games would you play during live streams? DC Universe is definitely one of them I would definitely play. I would still go back into Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. They really need to finish that. So Konami really needs to get off their ass and really get back to, making what makes them good at one point. If I would have to say, if any other games I would actually, you know what? I need to do the live stream for Spider-Man 4. I need to do that. I'm surprised I haven't, and it's been weird because I finished the game. I haven't even played the other downloadable content areas yet. So Spider-Man 4, I've played only half of the other DLC for it. I haven't still done the other parts to it, which is so weird. But let me go ahead and refresh something real quick because I got some other things I do want to talk about, and it's just sort of that area. Oh, okay, I was just reading something for like an explanation for that. But you know what? Like I said, I was focusing more on my well-being, importantly above everything else that I was doing, and I pretty much, seeked help from a lot of people. Hey, Raining Doom guy, what's going on, man? I haven't seen you in a while. Um, but yeah, I haven't talked to some other people in a while, and I get it. Some people are kind of harder to reach than the president nowadays, but they're busy, they got lives. Which I'm hoping some guy 87, my friend Stevie, hope he's still doing well, man. Um, I just haven't talked to him in a long while. I'm just hoping that it's pretty much something that, I hope he's doing all right. Oh gosh, dude. I've already had to deal with that one dude. What was his name? The fish guy, whatever his name was. It was I can't even remember. Limon Sook. Who's Stenson? But yeah, Limon Sook was the guy. I don't want to give that guy any more attention, but I did capture or caught the attention of a video that he made about me, which pretty much in some way was kind of defaming who I was. Lodo, how you doing, man? I've missed you. But he was kind of defaming me, saying I was trying to divide people, and so like in a way, it's like you obviously have no idea why I made my videos or kind of why I made the debate thing. But I don't think that anyone should go through that sort of shit, being under the victim area or the victim position, to fall into some person like a pedo or a predator. It's completely bullshit. It's completely what's the word? It's completely monstrous, is what I'm saying. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me also kind of go into a little bit more here about a certain individual. Again, not Limon Sook, but I and you guys know that I hate talking about this guy, and a lot of people know you don't want to hear this guy over and over again, and I can totally understand that. But before I do, let me just read this real quick. Dude, I hear you, man. Dude, working on the holidays was like insanity. Faith in humanity. Oh my gosh. If you want your humanity restored, I would watch the pug dog saying God is dead. Not that I believe God is dead. I mean, according to my beliefs, I believe in God. But it's a funny video, and it pretty much in pug translation, it's a funny movie to see. No, it's not McJuggernuggets. No. Here's the thing, that I don't really despise McJuggernuggets. Honestly, he does seem like a potential good person. Like I said, the only thing I just have an issue with is that it's a repetitive formula that he goes through. And compared to people like Pickle Boy, and which I'm not going to go into any sort of depth about Pickle Boy. I don't really know personally on hand. I wasn't there for the entire bit. But compared to McJuggernuggets, it's not that sort of. I don't really despise him. I just don't necessarily approve, and he doesn't need my approval, obviously, but I don't necessarily approve of how he goes with things about like the Psycho series, or the repetitive nature of the videos that kind of reflect the Psycho series, because it's the same thing. Father goes off, there's a little bit of confrontation, do this, something gets broken, and it just repeats. And it's not anything like that. And looking back on it, there were certain videos that I made that I felt like, wow, I was a total complete dumb shit, But no, McJuggernuggets is not the person I'm talking about. I've kind of grown a little bit to sort of respect him, because in some way he's kind of learned some of his lessons. But again, you got to also remember that this most likely is all staged, as opposed to Pickle Boy. I don't really know that for a fact. I can't say that, and I say that out of respect to Pickle Boy, because I don't know. I wasn't there. But who I'm really talking about is someone that we actually absolutely despise, who's pretty much on the level of pedo. Quite recently, he got into some legal trouble, and also in other forms of legal trouble that he's also kind of facing, on apart from harassment. And also that a few young girls have been coming out with the story, or pretty much coming forward with this on Greg or Onision. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to go back deep into Onision, because it's not about that person. This is not about him mainly. but something I kind of want to cover over a little bit because I also want to make an announcement about the Onision videos that I made. I don't know if Onision was ever on the blacklist though. Never thought of Dragon Hearts or Pickle Boy. Yeah, and I know people hate having to hear this. I don't want to go back into it either, but it has to be addressed because I happen to be friends with one of the people that have been harassed by the certain individual. So I've talked with her. I'm not going to specifically say who it is, and I like to keep the confidentiality between me and her on that case of that scenario. And speaking of which, okay, thought I got a message from her again, but it's not there yet. But we got to talk, and I told her if she needed anything, to feel free to contact me or contact the people that I knew, because absolutely, we're here to help, and we're here to do anything in case, even if any legal issues come up, because this person has been equally, harassing, stalking not only her but her best friend as well, and just out of respect for a lot of people in a certain group, which I'm not going to say, this is something I need to touch up upon, but I need to make this announcement real quick on the videos. That every single video that I have done on Onision will be effectively deleted after this stream. Here's the reason why for this. Because after looking upon that, because it looks like it's a repetitive nature of another certain individual who has constantly made videos over people like Daddy05 Onision. I think you can pretty much connect the dots on this person here. I don't want to keep going into this continuation like this person, but out of pretty much what I want to do for this is to clarify that I want to be a lot better from what I'm doing here and take this more into more of an appropriate and mature approach. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be deleting these Onision videos, not out of to hide anything, but one video that I will or this live stream I will do will constantly just serve as the ultimate reminder of how much of a despicable person that guy is. But I want that to serve as the ultimate purpose. That's why I'm getting rid of those videos, because those videos don't mean anything to me anymore because it's all said and done. But let's cover a little bit of something, because even Mr. Repsion has touched upon this, and I really want to touch upon this as well. Onision, or Greg, is also in a lot of legal trouble for something that he wasn't supposed to do, which he was pretty much contacted by the state of Washington for destroying wetlands or property that doesn't belong to him. Apart from this, he's also in some legal trouble over his taxes, or pretty much in the sense of tax deductibles, claiming everything in his house or in his property, his wedding, pretty much the things that he bought for his wife, or pretty much he includes as tax deductible. And yeah, destroying the wetland, we'll get here in just a moment. I didn't actually know Daddy05's channel was deleted, by the way, and I will definitely take it upon that. So here is the the build up to that. After the state has pretty much told Mr. Greg, or Onion Boy, to cease what he's doing, he just deliberately continues to do that sort of thing over and over again. Again, as Mr. Repsion said, is that the fines continued to build up, and now it's gotten to a point where it's reached over $500,000, $500,000. We're probably even talking more than this. But you can feel that the story is exaggerated from Onion Boy himself, because he says he's losing everything. We all know that's bullshit, because this, technically what I'm doing, and apart from what he's doing, is going to make him that money. But you know what? I feel like the new all-time low is that a person who actually has the philosophies of being a vegan, who would destroy wetlands and pretty much affect the environment of animals around, or pretty much the environments around people that live in homes, it's pretty much already confirmed that in areas people can die from mudslides, and all that's confirmed. Now, I don't want to be plagiarizing everything that Mr. Repsion said, but even in the court documents, it states specifically clear that if he doesn't stop, that the fines would continue to build up. And again, that's not the only issue that he's going through here. The other legal issue is his tax deductibles. So pretty much being audited by the IRS seems to have quadrupled the trouble that he is in already. So we could be talking more than just $500,000. The state's going to take his wife and kids as noted. Oh yeah, and speaking of which, there was a little girl that came out with the story about, I don't know, it was, like I said, I recently just got into, so I would actually have to look more into it, but people were talking about it. A person, one of Onision's, I guess, supposed girlfriends, or pretty much at the point of being groomed, is what I'm hearing about. I don't have any particular evidence at that time or heard anything further of that story. All I've just heard is just words thrown here and there. But you got to remember, this is pretty much the repetitive nature that we've seen around. And learning about that certain person, well, you really can't take away any doubt, because it's the repetitive thing. But again, I know people are going to ask that question. Why did you go back to that? You were done with it. Yes, I am done with it. But I figured this is going to be more of the appropriate way to do it. By deleting all of those videos, I can cast it anew and do something a little bit more better. Because again, let's put this in a scenario that everyone else can think, together with. It doesn't really matter where you live. Okay. Let's just pretend it's not even a wetland. Let's pretend it's just dry, not dry, but like a complete flat land of grass. Okay. Just certain land that you or anyone else lives on, like a farm, a house, a suburban area. It doesn't really matter. Suppose you do something to that land. Any scenario can happen. If you don't have the state nor the government's authority to do something you're not supposed to do, you are not supposed to do it. It does not matter whether if you are next door neighbors with that person, or if you lived pretty much within even a little couple of feet within that land. When the government tells you, or the state tells you, that you are not supposed to be doing this, you listen. You don't do that. So before I continue, Happy New Year's to you, by the way, Lourdes Macedo. Missed you very much too. But I'm sorry, I got sinuses, so bear with me. Again, and there's now also video footage, which is also taken by the state, or pretty much the staff of the council over in the state of Washington, that is submitted as evidence. And now here's where it gets juicier. The person who I'm friends with is getting harassed by that said individual. And I can only guess of one thing that's coming by after just going through the instances of having himself a GoFundMe to tell people to donate for his own fuck up of $500,000. It doesn't seem coincidental at all that he would go right back to harassing this person who's also best friends with her friend right here, my friend who's best friends with her friend. You don't really think that there's anything coincidental about that? I don't know, blackmail, extortion, I don't know. It's just that I'm pretty much just only putting it into a theory, because initially these stories pretty much just came out right after the incident occurred. So the incident prior to pretty much his fuck ups, apart from his little tax area thing, is pretty much what's setting all of this off. Let's see. I can see if I could try to stream this Friday. I'll have to see if I'm off, though. If not, I could try later on tonight. I'm also trying to plan a trip out to Georgia, by the way, because I have to meet some of my family out there, because it's been a long time since I've been out there. And I figured I'd probably get some footage while I'm there, because I used to live like next to a Civil War battleground. And Wheezy, what do you want? Wheezy. All right, you want to come up here? Here, come here. I mean, everyone's looking at you, so you might as well wave. Congrats on getting employed, by the way. I like that. But now that that's out of the way, I did let the person know, or my friend who was harassed, that if this stuff continued, don't be afraid to contact me or anyone else that I know. I let her know about some people that she may remember and who I am also friends with, which I will not specifically say because out of protection, I would like to keep that confidential. And so that way it is that area which I can help out. So technically it does kind of involve me in a way because she's a good friend of mine and I don't like when that happens. And I did say that the only time I would ever make a video or something like this on that said individual is that if it's something that I feel like it kind of involves me, and it kind of does because he's harassing a good friend of mine and it's pissing me off. But other than that, let me just also take the time to tell you is that despite so many things that have happened so long, I like to thank every single one of you. It doesn't matter if you only see me for a day, if you only see me for a week, a month, a few years, hell, maybe even 10 years down the road, that I wouldn't be able to probably still do this if you guys weren't even here. Doesn't really matter. It could be just 5, could be just 1. It doesn't matter. Some thoughts in my head just kind of figured if I come back to this, I just don't feel like I would ever feel the same. And it's been very hard. But, it's good to be back, and despite the fact that, I don't know, I've seen so much stuff on here. So I've been pretty much, like I said, I've been outside of YouTube. I've been outside of what I've been doing, just in the shadows, just focusing on me. That's what I've been doing. And apart from that, I've been collecting a little bit more than usual, but if I keep collecting, it's going to turn into some sort of unhealthy habit. But like to be supported, but you got to also remember, validated is not always a good thing. You got to, I don't care. And here's the thing. If I do something wrong, do not be afraid to call me out for it. It's the one thing that I can definitely own up to, unlike certain people. Don't be afraid to call me out if I do something stupid, or if I say something stupid, or something like that. Feel free, okay? Because I'm open to criticism. If you want to tell me anything you need to tell me, by all means, don't hold it back. Pretty much, Loto like hit the nail on that one. It just depends on what the circumstance is. I still continue to play God of War. That's one of my favorite games from 2018. What else? I really haven't bought any other games, but I'm really looking forward to the new Mortal Kombat game that's going to be coming out soon. So I'm psyched for that. What sucks is I'm not going to be able to afford it because I'm trying to pay for my trip. Warframe, that's awesome. But let's see. Oh, wait a minute, I forgot. Let me check one more thing. Senpai's on. Thank you. MK11. Dude, I want to do the pre-order because I want to play as Shao Kahn. I haven't played as Shao Kahn since like Mortal Kombat Trilogy. Well, I mean, I played him like in Deception and Armageddon, but like in the actual classic style of back and forth scrolling, that would be something I would be interested in. But okay, but also another good news, when I was also doing the Star Wars recordings, I've gotten a little bit used to more of these certain types of editing, so I'm really happy about that. So if by any means, if I could do something, I'll try to be a little bit more creative with my craft now, because I'm happy about it. But I'm also working on trying to build up a PC, so that way I can do better quality of gaming for recording. So I might either buy myself an Alienware computer or build my own PC, like maybe a desktop maybe. Only thing is, I would have to save up a lot of money to build up some parts, but if we could do that, that would be pretty awesome. Which I can finally write the stories, and which, by the way, I will say this as a blessing to EA and BioWare. They actually did a new release, which was maybe a week or 2 weeks ago, which was the Jedi Under Siege update from Star Wars: The Old Republic. And despite the fact that it's a very, very short release, that it's not really there's not much missions out of it. Which, I mean, the story itself is short, but you can do like 20 missions. But they finally added a romance feature with light-sided Jason Wilson, which is one of my favorite companions to have in the game. And you can finally have a romance option, which I was amazed. I was like, automatic 10 out of 10 because I'm happy. but there are some things about it which did kind of irritate me. When they come up with new releases, they put certain things in the game that you had to specifically find, like datacrons and switches, and it was a pain in the ass. And yes, I said ass. Not like this is getting monetized anyway, so. Monster Hunter, apparently. But other than that, I was happy. I'm like happy with what they have, and I'm going to be excited for whatever release they're going to have next. But I think this next release, anything that they release after, I'm not going to do any recording of any of the gameplay after. It just depends on what they put out, I guess, because I'm going to be branching off with my own story, like my own handwritten story and like that, which sooner or later I will be hiring people to do some like artwork for that, because I really want the story to also be drawn. And I had this idea, which I'll get into the idea for a moment, but it just reminded me of something very, very, very negative that I really need to touch up upon, because it concerns the game and it concerns people of what I play. For any other people, or for any other types of players out there in gamings or in MMOs or RPGs or anything, or for people who take PvP so damn seriously, I just want to make it completely clear, just for anyone who may recognize my character, because I'm going to say it. J.S. Kenobi is pretty much the character that I've named that is pretty much in the Star Wars game. It's pretty much, I think, on the Starforge server. So if anyone recognizes that, oh, trust me, you're gonna hear why I'm also pissed off at PvP, but why I need PvP. You're about to find out. So basically, I'm pretty much a one-man guild, and this one-man guild, and quite impressively, I pretty much scraped a lot. Like, they pretty much dumbed it down to where instead of paying 50 million credits for a guild ship, you pay 8 million credits now, which at the same time, oh, that's cool, but it feels insulting because I scraped up 50 million credits about 2.5 years ago to get a guild ship, just to find out that you can't even sell your own guild anymore, because I actually own about 4 or 5 of them from different characters, and I wanted to sell mine. That included the guild bank, and that included at least the actual ship and the guild itself and the additional cargo bays and the decorations themselves that I had. Oh, I wanted to sell it for 50 million credits, which is a lot more than just getting the guild ship. And people's like, well, you know what? You're kind of ripping people off because it's 8 million now. I was like, well, that's BioWare's deal, which I can understand that. They bumped it down to 8 million. I can't be pissed at that anymore. But like, I had all that stuff that I had planned up for it. But anyways, that's not the point. The point is that I'm a one-man guild. So for PvP, you have to get certain type of materials or crafting materials in order to create these certain type of engineering plans. But before you can do that, you have to craft all these other certain things. And to obtain these certain items, you would have to either buy them, which you would have to grind. I mean, like, endlessly grind. We're talking about maybe years and years worth of grinding. I am not even exaggerating for a one-man guild, because I don't trust EA or BioWare with this, because if you are not active in your guild as a subscriber and you actually get turned off as a preferred status member and you have a friend who's in your guild, that person runs your guild now. He takes your guild. That person has the power to take your guild away, kick you out, and claim it all for himself without even have to pay for it. You want to know how I know this? And as much as it really is not really a shocker, because people that I knew or people that I've played with haven't played the game in over, 1, 2, 3 years, maybe even a few months. They haven't been active on this guild. I feel like they gave up on the game. Well, I started kicking people out of there because I've been deemed the headmaster of one of the guilds, and on the Republic side, I pretty much got a freaking ship to myself, and I pretty much got the guild banks. I got all that. Now, before that, this is how I found out about this. Because when the first time I realized that, oh, I can't access the guild banks. I can't access anything guild related because I'm not a subscriber. Somebody else has control of my guild stuff. This was the first time ever that I realized this, that I discovered that sort of flaw in their little system. Oh, and 50 million credits is not a lot, believe me. I'm actually selling 50 million credits only buys you pretty much one of those frameworks, which is created by 50 engineering encryptions, and it's 50 million each just for one of those, just to unlock an additional room. That's what sucks. And you have to do PvP in order to like obtain either these isotopes, or you buy the isotopes from the Galactic Trade Market. But anyways, I'll get into that in just a moment. So, being dismayed that I nearly lost my guild to some random person. But luckily they came on and was like, hey, I need my position back. They were lucky enough to give it to me back. And it's like, I'm not going to take my chances. I'm just going to remove any people that I know or people that are in my guild, and I'm just going to keep my guild just one man. It's one man, but technically it's like it has 3 or 4 characters on it, which belong to me. So figuring out that loophole, figuring that BioWare and EA pretty much screwed me technically out of $10, which I'm not going to bitch about. I figured, okay, you know what? Well, now I discovered there's a loophole around this. So people that I didn't, that weren't pretty much active on a guild, I was like, you know what? I'm taking over. It's my ship now. It's my fucking guild bank. You mean out of all that time that I've been screwed over, I decided to poke the system right back and, you know what? Take an entire chunk of the guild for myself. And yeah. And do I feel bad about it? No, because I was screwed over so bad. That is karma for a game that pretty much charges you as a subscriber to have access to a guild. That's stupid. And it gets worse, because any common area of PvP, you are going to be dealing with people who trash talk, that bring you down. And let's bear this in mind. My computer is an AMD A8. That processor is not a very, very good choice for the game I'm playing. But it's the only thing I could afford at that time, and I'm saving money for a trip. So I have to make do with what I have. And if I actually had a camera, I could just take that and just show you exactly what I'm working with here. But unfortunately, that's not the case. So here's the thing. Certain frame rates that I'm working with when I'm playing an MMORPG game, when I'm playing PvP against other players, they'll tell you got to do this. If you're a tank, you got to do certain things. They say like CC, and I don't know what the hell that means. And honestly, because I'm sort of old school when it comes to communication, because I don't fucking like understand text talk and crap like that. But they say CC, which I know now, which means crowd control. But when I try to do these other things, I'll have people like yell at me saying, "What the fuck are you doing? You're being being stupid." It's not that it offends me, but this is the shit that I have to point out. Yeah, the CC crowd control. I figured that out later on. But there's certain types of communication where I just don't understand it. I'll just go into a PvP of either ranked or unranked. There's 2 types of versions that you can do for PvP when you're facing off against players, when you're actually queuing. Ranked and unranked. So I do ranked because you get a lot of rewards out of that. The unfortunate side, though, is that people scold you, or pretty much they tell you, don't ever come back on to ranked or anything like that. Like they actually have some sort of position or power over you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's not like I fuck up intentionally to ruin somebody's day in PvP, but my gosh, these people take PvP way too damn seriously. I don't really care if I win or lose. And they actually have a label for that sort of thing, by the way, which obviously I don't care about, but I don't care whether if I win or lose. If I win, hooray. If I lose, okay, cool. I have to get about like 50 points just to unlock these sort of, features. So I can use that to use the resource onto that, and process repeats over and over again. So a lot of people tell me, don't come back to unranked. You suck at this. Some people will pretty much like blame the entire crowd or pretty much the entire group that they suck. It's just, But the thing about it is, I don't intentionally want to piss people off. There are people tell me that, you don't belong here. You don't. And that's the thing about chat on Star Wars. It is complete cancer. I will tell you that. But I'm going to keep doing ranked or unranked because, I need to get those isotopes. I need to get those certain things if I want to unlock things for my guild ship. If I didn't need to do PvP in order to get these isotopes to unlock the guild ship or to craft certain things, then I would not be in PvP. If they would have still allowed the fact that I could have just bought them with certain parts, which back then you could actually buy those with certain types of things without even using your creds. you can just use certain types of things that you earn through a reward system, and then you can get those, and that would have made it a whole lot easier. They were about 5 each. That's pretty much, but at least you're not paying credits, and you're not paying real money for them, and you're not having to actually grind for those sort of things. But unfortunately, you have to now, which is why just in a few, I'm probably going to go back onto there and just try to grind for a few more. Oh, yeah, believe me. But that's why I'm a little bit hesitant about putting people in my guild, because I don't want to lose everything that I pretty much build up for, because that's a way that BioWare and EA can screw you over. But at the same time, I don't want to shit talk them, because they've actually fixed stuff for me, and I thank them for that. I'm not going to blame the entirety of EA or BioWare, because pretty much parts of the company is not to entirely be blamed for, because there are some people in that company that actually do help out in terms of bugs, glitches, certain things like this, and I do appreciate that. And I do appreciate the fact that they let me promote their game, and I'm totally grateful for that, which is why I can't be angry. Let's see. So for me, there's like 15 rooms you have to unlock in that ship, and it costs about 4, depending on what room you're unlocking or the expansion that you're unlocking. It can either cost from between 4 or down to 2 flagship encryptions. But unfortunately, each one of them is consisted of 50 encryptions, and these encryptions each have to be pretty much traded in for dark projects. But the dark projects, you have to craft an invasion force, and you have to craft isotopes with those. The invasion forces, you actually have to craft those. You have to scatter the galaxy looking for resources to craft those. The isotopes, again, PvP, the PvP reward system, or buying it from GTN or Galactic Trade Network. That's pretty much the area right there that you're having to deal with. And if I'm boring you guys, I'm so sorry. I'm not trying to turn into Joy Sparkles here and really ruin the moment, but that's the sort of issue I've been going with the game. But you know what? It's kept me going. I'm not really playing the game and spending the money just to be entertained. It's also to unlock certain content so I can help better tell the story, because I've actually looked over the footage that I've recorded, and I like some of the things that I did with the recording, because now if I pause a certain image that I want to take, I'm going to take that image and I'm going to print it out and put it into a story. Like, I got a perfect image of my character who looks like Darth Vader in the final battle against Darth Barris with the Dark Council. And the picture of Barris shooting lightning while my character has his red lightsaber out, deflecting it was perfect in my eyes. And I just figured that's the kind of art I'm looking for. Because again, the character that I'm making is an anti-hero to start out with, but eventually in the future, because in this new update, I forgot to mention, you can defect. You can be a Sith warrior who now later defects to the Republic. Same thing with an Inquisitor, same thing with a Bounty Hunter, same thing with an Imperial Agent. And on the other side, you can be a Jedi Knight, Jedi Counselor, a Smuggler, or a Trooper who defects to the Empire. And being that I'm formerly technically a Sith warrior, I'm defecting to the Republic. Which brings me to another thing, which people, I believe, take this way too fucking seriously. If you go onto chat and say, hey, well, my character pretty much deformed, or not deformed, but defected to the Republic, again, you get scolded. Or if you say something like, if you actually, because technically the main guild that I've made is actually a Mandalorian guild. And I got so much scolded for this, because I know basically in the main area that Mandalorians are pretty much sided with the Empire or sided with the Sith or pretty much that reach, but they're more of a neutral kind of area. Yeah, deformity. I don't know where deformed came from. I don't know. But the clan that I made is called Clan Pyra, but the clan is actually affiliated. The Mandalorian clan is affiliated with the Republic, which I have a story behind that too. And it's kind of like inspired by DBZ, the Bardock story, by the way, which I'll get into that in a future stream. But basically, it consists of a bounty hunter's father who was pretty much a Mandalorian who worked for the Empire for that time. I'm just going to paraphrase it so that way, because we'll talk about it into a next stream. But pretty much the father himself realizes that, well, the Mandalorians that are being led by certain individuals is corrupted, pretty much killing innocent people or people that don't really deserve death, and doing all these things that they're not supposed to. They're pretty much breaking their honorable code. So pretty much realizing that they're going on some sort of like a unnecessary slaughter of people, and pretty much ravaging and destruction, and pretty much slaughtering and committing genocide to certain races. That character, he's not really the main character, because the main character, like I said, is the Sith warrior I was talking about, but pretty much what stems to that is to the bounty hunter. But the bounty hunter and the Sith warrior will actually have eventually a connection later on. But the bounty hunter's father is pretty much the original leader of the clan Pyra of Mandalorians, which I like to also call the Red Mandalorians. Character breaks away. His best friend, pretty much his best friend goes with him, and they end up forming this new clan. And they pretty much kick ass and pretty much tear like a lot of the corruption down from the Mandalorians that they once sided with, and it nearly works, but character's best friend betrays him, kills him, and pretty much forms the Blue Mandalorians just out of spite for that. But before that, the bounty hunter, who was just a kid at the time, is sent away with his mother because the guy feared that, okay, I fear something's going to happen. Pretty much the leader of the original leader of the Red Mandalorians is pretty much the Bardock of Star Wars. And so pretty much sends his son away, who eventually becomes a bounty hunter, and you can see where the bounty hunter story goes. But anyways, I'm done with that. So I figured that's something I touch upon, because I have a lot of things I would actually talk upon. I think that is a good way to do it. Yeah, some people were salty over that. But that was the update I was waiting for over 6 years. Not going to lie. I was waiting for something like that to happen. And it finally did. And I'm happy about it. All right. So we're nearly about 15 minutes. I'm actually going to cut this stream very short. Well, not really short, but we're going to end the stream off because I'm happy to be back. So ladies and gentlemen, before I end off, I want to at least give an update. Please understand that the constant uploads of the Star Wars videos that I'm making, it's not to be anything of a pestering annoyance. It's because I'm uploading. It's mainly for project use. It's really all it is. So if you don't want to view it, that's fine. You don't have to view it. Not asking you to. They're only constantly uploaded because it's just something that I wanted to do, and I'm not craving any attention or anything like that. Because there's going to be another set of a season that I'm going to be recording, which is going to pretty much be the Ilum chapter, which it's not really going to be that long, but it's going to be important because I have to play this in chronological order, because now I actually have to choose the right decisions for the character that I made or created. Because the original character that I made, I still have him, but I had to recreate the character the exact same way and play the story all over to get that. Which, by the way, I will tell you guys later, the character's top #1 arch enemy. In order to do that, I have to play the entire story from every expansion to do that. So, basically, the first season's pretty much covered about 3, because I'm doing a top 20 villain list, or top 10 enemies of J.S. Kenobi or / Darth Rayogun. Because that's pretty much the character's Darth name is Darth Rayogun. But that's going to hold a big significant difference in the fan-made story. But pretty much there's a top 20 I'm going on, and pretty much the story pretty much covered about 3 of them. But the fan-made story I'm going to have is going to cover so much of some of the characters you won't see in the recording because they're pretty much made up. So that's all I'm going to have for today. I'm going to end the stream. I'm gonna close that. And I just dropped my drink. I'm going to end off the stream right here. So anyways, I'm really glad that you guys were able to come around, and thank you guys for showing up, and thank you. I've been talking for so much, I'm kind of off the track now, but Thank you guys for coming out here. I'm going to end this off. You guys have a wonderful night. If anything you guys want to say before we go, feel free to say it now. If there's anything you want to say. Give it about a minute and a half. Yeah, it might be on here tomorrow because I'm off tomorrow. Well, PlayStation. Okay. Yeah, I could definitely see if I can be on. I don't have PlayStation Plus anymore because I have to conserve my money, my savings, because I'm trying to take my trip out. If I can get my trip out of the way, then I can focus on other priorities. Okay, so that works. I can still do DC Universe Online if you ever want to talk to me. All right, guys. So that has been my time. I will catch you guys later. Thank you, Loto. Thank you, Reigning Doom Guy. Thank you, Lourdes Mercedo. Thank you, Brandon. Also, thank you. Someone else was here. I know. Thank you, Shades, because I know he was watching for a brief moment. All right, guys. You have a great night. Peace.